Hello everyone. Today, we'll delve into a crucial analysis of the upcoming CPI release's potential impact on NIO, SPY, Tesla, and QQQ stocks. Amid NIO's recent decline, Alibaba's earnings and broader market trends will scrutinize the critical role of CPI's influence. This discussion is essential to understanding potential market movements. Let's get started. I'm going to break down what's going on with the overall market, what's causing the market to experience such significant volatility, and also what's going to happen for tomorrow as we have more data dropping that could cause some big moves for NIO. But before I break anything down with all this information, before I talk about what's going on with NIO, SPY, Tesla, and the QQQ, NIO was down 1.56% for the day, getting a bit of a rug pull. But the question is, why did NIO move the way it did, and what's going on with the markets? Well, I just want to warn everyone that the market is gonna kind of mad right now. The last couple of days, we observed considerable volatility in SPY. So basically, if we go back to I don't know, for example, we have Tuesday right here, not even just Tuesday, maybe as recent as Monday. The market got this pump on Monday. Then Tuesday came, and we got this massive rug pull. After the banking news came out, the market came down very hard, got a huge bounce. And then going into Wednesday, we saw the market get a huge rug pull, huge bounce, and another drop. It was going crazy. Let's discuss the current day's developments. We got some bullish CPI numbers. The market got a crazy pump. But this was just a trap set by the market makers and the institutions for retail, because then they rug pulled the market very, very hard. A huge rug pull all the way down to 444 for SPY before we got a little bounce, and then we came back down. Remember, the CPI numbers were good news, good numbers. The market got a pump and dump, a crazy dump. I just want to remind everyone that this market is going crazy. The market is quite capricious, and they are making it very difficult for people to predict how the market is going to move. So the best thing to do is don't forget you must quickly secure profits when there's signs of a turn or something like that. Not financial advice, I'm just saying that's one strategy scalping could work very, very well. And simultaneously, it's essential to grasp trend interpretation by studying extended time frames like the 30 minutes, the 1 hour, and etc. So you have to be able to read the trend yourself in a crazy market like this, because the market can make some crazy, crazy moves. And when these moves are made, we can anticipate altercations to the price action, which is designed to trick retail. Now when SPY made these moves, we had this falling wedge, a very small bounce off it before it came down. When these moves were made, basically this impacted NIO. It impacted Tesla and the whole market. And these people are trying to trick retail. They're doing all these different things to make it very difficult. The market's just going mad. So you have to be able to read the trend, you have to be able to be prepared to secure profits quickly, and you have to be very flexible and adaptive in a market like this. You have to be fast. Okay, I want to make that as clear as possible. Keep in mind that I'm discussing this without a visual reference, but it's important to consider this because tomorrow we may experience a similar scenario. The CPI data was released, the market pumped in the morning, then they gave us this rug pull. Well, for tomorrow, we have the PPI report coming out. So yesterday, not yesterday, today we had CPI, right? That's the consumer price index tomorrow. We have the producer price index coming out. We want this to be very close to expectations. If we get a good PPI report, the market could get a pump. And I think the OBS favor that in the morning. But even if we get the pump, if you are going to trade it, remember to get in and get out quickly because you never know if they're going to reverse this. And when you want to get out, you're seeking indications that suggest a potential trend reversal. You want to be very open-minded and very flexible because you never know if they're going to pull off another stunt like that. Again, to trick you or as many retail investors as possible. So you want to get in, get out quickly just in case, and on top of that, I would stay in the trend. If the trend tells me to stay, I would exit. If there's a signal of reversal, expanding upon the observations from earlier today. Not financial advice, I'm just trying to make that clear because you have to be prepared just in case they pull off some stunts. Again, These people are trying to trick retail. They're trying to take money from you. You have to be very careful. Now, as far as NIO goes from a fundamental basis, NIO Germany launched its 7th power swap station, which is once again bullish news for NIO. They're continuing to open more stations, and pretty soon they're going to continue growing. I'm very excited about this. Regarding the platform of TradingView, there's some talk right over here about not TradingView. The price per ratio is dropping a little bit more for NIO. That is a bearish signal, and according to the data, it appears that Fridays show a positive trend roughly 53% of the time. It's not an exceptionally significant observation. And then to add on to this, the short interest went up before. It's declining a little bit, so there's nothing too big there. But it is still higher than before as NIO was starting to slow down. To add on to this, the overall volume was about 55 million, a little bit lower than average. So that's also worth noting. So what can I tell you about NIO for tomorrow? What can I tell you about the markets? It's going to be hard to predict because the market is going all over the place. Okay, just to be clear with you, but I'm confident in sharing my expectations, and there are several important levels worth keeping an eye on for tomorrow. In the morning when PPI comes out, there's a good chance that the market is going to bounce because once again, we've been stuck in a range going back and forth for the last couple of days. We're just bouncing back and forth and back and forth. So this could potentially indicate that we may observe something akin to this. The PPI report coming out is going to be similar to the CPI report. So a monstrous pump again, a gap up and a pump off PPI. SPY retest 450, if not 452, and then we might get a rejection. If they pull the same stunt again, they might try to smack the market down, continue to play their games to trick people, make it more difficult for them. And if they do the same thing, we're going to be looking for a bounce at the end of the day and some more crazy price action. So make sure you watch support and resistance levels. I actually have all the supports here: 450, 452, and then 448 are going to be some resistance levels for support. If we do end up at 450, you should keep an eye on these levels: 449.5, 448.7, and there are more to consider. For SPY approaching, like 444.7. Okay, be mindful of the potential for increased volatility in the market. I think we're going to pop in the morning off PPI. I think the OBS favor that, and we'll find out if the trend continues. We're gonna if we reject or not. If we do get a big rejection, stay alert regarding the support levels as there may be attempts to influence the situation. Now this will relate to NIO in just a 5 minutes, so bear with me. For Tesla, it's the same thing. This thing pumped and dumped many times. Consider the recent movements of Tesla over the past few days. It's been kind of range bound, going back and forth and back and forth. Allow me to provide my insights on the current situation with Tesla. They might try to pump Tesla again. They might try to pump Tesla up to about 250 or so in the morning if we get a decent PPI. If it's a bad PPI, then the opposite could happen. But I'm leaning more in direction of a good one thanks to CPI. Then they might rug pull Tesla and bring it all the way back down to this like 242 area. Then possibly even 240. Then they might try to pump it a little bit off 240 as support is still existent over there, and we'll observe whether Tesla manages to hold that level or not. Expect the potential for further volatile price action, maybe even a red day tomorrow. So be very careful. Stay alert for any potential upward movement in the morning. Potential dump. We've been doing this for the last 3 days. There's a good chance it could happen again. And if this isn't the case, exercise careful observation of the support and resistance levels, as this market tends to be volatile. Particularly for the QQQ, this is looking like it may consider the possibility of a positive move by tomorrow morning. Observing the current structure, we formed a bullish divergence on it. So we're going to be looking for another bounce on the QQQ. It's possible that we may experience a retest at the 372 level, if not 374 tomorrow morning. A rejection off that for it to come down. We'll assess the extent of the decrease. considering the potential impact of various influencing factors. Should we encounter a decrease, it's essential to remain vigilant with these support levels. So if you hit 374, 372, 373.68, and the list goes on as support, and then a bounce off of that is going to help this thing hold for NIO. What does this all mean for NIO stock? Here's your answer for NIO. Okay, I'm picking up on signals suggesting a potential bullish divergence. NIO get a pop all the way back up to this like 13.7 area. 13.7 or so gap up with the PPI report. Maybe get a pop just like today, then if they try their stunts again, their little tricks on retail investors and etc. NIO come right back down into the low 13s and then try to bounce off that and trade very sideways again. I think it's going to be a very flat close for NIO, considering the 4-hour time frame and taking a step back. The trend appears to have a more bearish inclination. So far it's been continuing to downtrend, so I do think it may have a flat Friday, but there is still risk of more downside moving forward. It's important to keep these critical support levels in mind. 13, 12.25, and don't forget the 1-once dot is crucial that we closely monitor those levels to observe how this situation unfolds on the daily chart. Don't forget that it's also getting a bearish cross on the daily, so I am anticipating a flat day. It could be a little red, but more towards like a flat day for tomorrow. A pop then a drop and just very sideways choppy price action, and we'll be observing the support and its interaction with the daily 20 EMA. If it breaks below this, that's going to be another bearish signal. I think it may try to hold for tomorrow, but just note I don't lean in the direction of NIO getting a big bounce. I lean more in the direction of a pop near open, a slowdown if the trend does continue, and a very sideways day after that. And I am leaning more a little bit more bearish, if not flat, for tomorrow based off this trend. Based off what we're discussed on the daily, the 4-hour, the 30 minutes time frame, and all these other levels. All right, guys, that's what talk about for NIO for the time being. Make sure you're ready for some volatility in the morning. It's going to be pretty wild as we have PPI coming out 1 hour before the market opens at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, so it's going to be very entertaining. Make sure you're ready, and we will discuss what the market does. I want to keep this as simple as possible. Thank you for listening. The market is going mad right now. We're talking about SPY making crazy moves, same thing with the NASDAQ and the QQQ. It's gonna mad because this is a way for those market makers to make money. When you lose, somebody else is winning. Don't forget about that, okay? And the market could be very tricky during periods like this. When this happens, we have to adjust our strategies. We have to be able to adapt to it. Even when there's a good piece of news, the market could still make crazy moves, such as CPI being bullish. It did not matter. The market still ended up getting a pump and dump. So be open-minded to anything. Remain calm, cool, and collected. Stay vigilant with your signals, and if you're uncertain, consider a wider perspective. Meaning, if you're analyzing the 5-minute chart, you're not sure what's going to happen. Look at the 30 minutes, shift your perspective, and observe the 1-hour and 4-hour charts to interpret the trend's signals. Next, analyze support and resistance levels. Check your supply and demand zones, and take necessary actions. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Stay safe, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. And don't forget what I'm predicting a potential pop tomorrow, thanks to PPI. Considering the market's post-CPI movement, the scenario appears quite likely. However, we must wait and observe. There's still the possibility of a market downturn. It hinges on PPI and their tactics near resistance if they attempt more manipulation. Okay, stay alert for a potential NIO surge, followed by a potential dip, and then anticipate some sideways price movement. The close could end flat or possibly red, influenced by the daily and 4-hour trends, but no matter the current challenges, if NIO demonstrates strong year-end deliveries and continues its growth trajectory, there's potential for a positive turnaround. They'll bounce back, and the outlook will brighten, and we have to be prepared for that anyways. All right, thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more stock predictions and market insights. Remember to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Happy investing and see you in the next video.